I'm back.
Is
Started
that
off with a bang.
is that supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes, it's Arnold. We are back. Another episode. I'm off from my 3-day illness, whatever it was. Chris did a great job last week. I listened to it. It was great. So hats off to you.
My rant about Philly.
That was funny.
I'm telling people, if you're looking to get into hockey and pick a team that's going to go to the cup, and Brian got into it with somebody about my perspective on it, Philly's going to the cup. I don't care what you say, how you say it, where you're from. I don't care. Go kick rocks. Because if you're not gonna vote for Philly, the Flyers, being in the cup this year for the Eastern Conference, you're gonna be wrong.
All right. I think we have 6 other episodes of you saying Philly and that people should go kick rocks.
That's the only Philly
if
team
they're not
I'll
going to
actually
pick
praise.
Philly.
That's the only Philly team I'll actually praise.
Really?
Oh, do you want to praise the Eagles?
What about the 76ers?
I mean, they're playing good basketball, but I'm not going to
There you go.
But I'm just okay, are we jurisdicting what the word praise means? I mean, real definition, you are correct. You're correct. Real definition, it's uplifting, praise and everything like that. But I'm saying to be all in on a team, probably only the Flyers right now is the only time I will do it for any Philly team.
Okay.
This is a strong introduction right now.
It is. Where do you want to start now? Do you want to start with NFL? There's not a lot to talk about. We can talk about NBA, transitioning to Philly about the Sixers. They're on the top of the East right now. So
I mean,
we can talk about whatever you want.
I'm going to let you run the show because you weren't here last week. So I'm going to let you get, talkie, like that. So you can get your vocals warmed up a little bit.
Okay. Get them warmed up. Well, okay. We could start with what happened. I think it was Monday. JJ Watt announced himself he was signing with the Cardinals to a 2-year deal.
Yes. And I, being a Seahawks fan, I mean, the Cardinals were dangerous last year. They didn't make playoffs, but they were still very dangerous.
They were good.
Yeah. No, they were definitely good. And now that they have JJ Watt, so they have 2 big defensive ends, literally probably one of the most 2 dynamic defensive ends in the NFL right now. But now that it's in the NFC West, I can't say that JJ Watt signing will be the Cardinals are definitely making the playoffs now. I think LA is still the stronger team in that division.
Agree.
I think the Rams are number 1 in the NFC West, and then I would actually probably take the Cardinals and then the Seahawks and then the Niners.
Yeah,
I think there's just too much turmoil in Seattle right now, and if they don't fix it and squash it, then that chemistry's gone. And then with Arizona signing JJ Watt like that, they're on the come up. That's what it is. They're on the come up.
Yeah, they're on the come up, but I still think they sit 3rd in that division.
You think Seahawks are above them?
I think so. I think even with the drama with Russ this offseason and then just everything else going on with Seattle, I personally think they are still, I don't want to say a 2-team race. The Cardinals are good. They just got to get over that hump to get to the playoffs. And I think Kyler Murray or 3 might do it, but Seattle's still really good no matter what's going on.
I agree.
LA got better this offseason.
LA is so what we saw with the LA and Seahawks playoff game, that showed who's top dog. That literally showed. And now that they have Matthew Stafford instead of Jared Goff, they're gonna be fine. I think honestly, LA did so much better. But now Seattle's a little turmoil. We got to see what they do in free agency. If they do something really good to that offensive line, or at least just do something to the defense, maybe they're still the number 2, but I wouldn't put them at number 1.
You wouldn't put Seattle at number 1?
No, but Arizona.
No, yeah, they're still number 2.
Yeah, Arizona could flip-flop. For me right now, they look like a number 2 team, but that could flip-flop between 2 or 3. I think San Francisco is kind of, even though they just not even long ago went to the Super Bowl, it's just
2 years ago. It's kind of.
I just don't.
last year. Shoot,
I mean,
that was last year.
If they stay healthy, they're like the Cardinals last year. They're a scary team.
Yeah.
If they stay healthy, that's the thing. So.
Yeah, but they've been since the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. They've just been injury after injury. So hopefully they can pull it around and then have a very competitive NFC West.
But you saw the impact when George Kittle came back.
Yeah.
I mean, it was as if he was never on the injured list. He came out and just did his thing. So
yeah.
Maybe, Nick Bosa does the same thing coming into next year, and Jimmy Garoppolo stays healthy too. Who knows? I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo might not even be there. We don't know.
Yeah, that is like a revolving door at QB for them. And
supposedly he might be going back to New England. I mean,
they need someone. I could see
here's my thing.
I could see like Cam Newton going over to San Francisco.
True. But here's my thing is like, speaking of the NFL, right? And now that the draft is coming up soon and like everybody's doing their mock drafts, the big headline is quarterbacks. It's a great class of quarterbacks this year, right? We all know Trevor Lawrence is going to Jacksonville. Okay. That's a done deal. Like they don't even talk about Trevor Lawrence going somewhere else. It's Jacksonville.
It's literally Jacksonville, yeah.
But everybody else is kind of shifted around everywhere. You got like Justin Fields and you got Zach Wilson at BYU. You got all these like really, good quarterbacks. But here's my thing is Carolina's talking about taking their first round draft pick as a quarterback. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, you just signed Teddy Bridgewater long-term last year. I get it. He got hurt. But what if Teddy Bridgewater got traded to New England? And like, you can have Carolina take majority of the hit on the salary.
Yeah, I could see that. And then drafting a QB and having him start.
Yeah. But I think if you give
what's weird with like Carolina though is if they do that, like I feel as though signing Bridgewater made it seem like they were a very competitive team going into the season.
Well, McCaffrey,
and they still might be. Oh yeah, without him, they're nothing. But him coming back next year and then having Bridgewater, I think that's a solid team.
I think they are. I know their defense it can definitely be legit. I don't think they needed to really draft too much defense in the draft. I think you need to get Teddy Bridgewater weapons or at least, a tight end. I mean, Greg Olson's not there. A lot of the teammates that were there with Cam are not there anymore. So the defense looks okay. It doesn't look terrible. And the division that they're in, it is tough, but it's not the worst thing in the world to get up there. So
yeah, well, they're in the NFC South, so it's not too bad. I think you have Tampa Bay there. You don't know what the Saints are going to bring now. Like you don't know if Breeze is there or if he's not.
But what I'm saying is, if they get wins in that division, they're going to make playoffs. They're going to.
Yeah. So then they'll get wins against the other teams out of division. So I mean, they can make it with 10 wins.
That's cutting it close to me. I think in the NFC, the NFC right now is top dog over AFC in strength wise. And I think in order to make the playoffs next year, I mean, we don't know what free agency is going to hold and what players go where.
Yeah.
But I think you have to get a minimum of 11 wins, a minimum.
Okay.
Because
that wasn't far off. I said 10.
No, I'm not saying like you're absolutely wrong. No, but I'm saying is like, if you look at it, right, the division winners always get top seed, right? Majority of those, besides the NFC, East is where the Philly and Washington and all of them are.
Yeah.
You have to get, besides that division, you have to get at least 12 wins probably to win the division. And then you're thinking, okay, now you only can, and then one of the crappiest teams in the NFC East will take one of those top spots with 6 wins. And then next thing you know, okay, all we got left is 3 more spots? That's it.
Yeah.
2 more spots. I think it's 2 more spots.
Yeah. That's a good transition, though, talking about Washington, because they released Alex Smith, comeback player of the year.
Do you want to talk about first?
You go ahead. You go ahead.
I don't think it's a bad or good call. My take on it is yes, he played phenomenal last year, but also Washington has to look to the future. So, I think Washington is still okay without Alex Smith. They won't probably be as good, but I mean, we'll see what their draft class is like, or if they sign somebody, who knows. But my thing is Alex Smith did his time there, even though it wasn't the greatest time there, because we all know he almost died. So
yeah.
But what he did last year was great for him. So maybe that helps him push a good, little salary somewhere else.
Yeah, as a backup. I think he knew he wasn't in the future plans, especially after, a gruesome injury like what he went through. And, I think they let him get that. He played well enough to get the comeback player of the year. And I think they were like, let him have his parade, let him do well, got on to the playoffs. And then we're like, all right, this wasn't going to work anyways. We barely scraped into the playoffs type of thing. We were just in a really weak division. So they were like, yeah, after this, no matter how far we go or whatever, you're done after this. And I think it was probably all right, type of thing. I think he was just more thankful to be back on the field than anything.
I totally agree. I think just him being on the field, like you said, I think that's just what he wanted. And I get it now. He doesn't have a job right now. I'm not even gonna probably say. I'm gonna say 100% guarantee he does get a job somewhere. I don't know if it'll be starting or backup. You can clearly see he still can play at his age. Like I always said, Alex Smith is probably the safest quarterback you can get because he never throws far.
Yeah,
never throws far. He makes smart decisions. He's the safest quarterback you can get. But if you do need a clutch moment or anything like that, or an all risk thing, you probably won't get that out of him.
Yeah, I agree. So hopefully he finds a job somewhere else.
Yeah.
I've always liked watching him play, and I think the last 5+ years or so, he's been dealt a bad hand a lot.
Yeah.
With how certain teams are going. I know with San Francisco, it was Kaepernick, and then with Kansas City, it was Mahomes. So
yeah,
kind of feel for him, but
you just don't know. But I mean, hopefully with Alex Smith, he does find something. I mean, he didn't go through all those surgeries and then come back on the field and then not get a job later on. So
yeah, he'll get a job. So we can go to basketball.
Let's go to basketball.
Or the NBA.
All-Star games right now.
Right now, if you're listening, wherever you are at during the week, but All-Star games going right now. It's Durant versus LeBron, and let's see what the
Durant's
score is
not even
right
playing.
now. It's I know it's at halftime. It's 100-80, Team LeBron.
Oh, the West is harder. I mean, a better conference than the East. So
it's pretty. Let's see who's got.
But the thing is though, is now it's it's so weird because they do a draft, so it doesn't matter what conference you're on.
Yeah, what conference you're in? Because you got Giannis is playing on Team LeBron.
What did Zion do today? He started. He started over. What's his name? He took his spot. I can't even think.
I'm drawing a blank as well. Yeah. But he started. He's got about almost 10 minutes into the game, and he has 8 points.
Oh, he started for Joel Embiid.
Oh yeah, because he was out because of
so has Ben Simmons was out too.
Yeah, so it's a big hit for Philly. Hopefully they come out of the All-Star game break.
I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, they're sitting on top of the East right now, and right behind them is Brooklyn, who just signed Blake Griffin. So Oklahoma. I know the last few podcasts we talked about the Nets and how they need to really get that defense going because you can't score 138 and give up 132.
Yep.
So they bolster their defense a little bit and they get Blake Griffin. So hopefully it might push them over the edge a little bit. So we'll see how it goes.
Here's my thing is how much are they paying? I want to know the Brooklyn Nets' payroll.
Yeah. I want to know I want to know how much of hit the contract the Pistons are paying.
Well, no, the Pistons did a buyout. They did a buyout.
Oh, they did a buyout.
They did a buyout, and then Blake was shopping teams, and then Brooklyn he chose. So whatever contract Brooklyn's paying him, they're paying him in full.
Oh.
So
dang, I wonder what he's getting with them then.
I think because Blake was sitting out the whole season upon requesting a trade. He was just sitting out the whole time. So I don't know how much they bought out his contract in Detroit for, but I mean him going to Brooklyn is
he played this year.
He didn't play this year. He was.
I think he sat out last year. I thought he sat out last year, and then
maybe our facts are wrong. Let's leave it to the fans. Let them put some comments in there. But I think Blake Griffin is a great addition to that Brooklyn Nets team that needs to find some defense there. I mean, he's won Defensive Player of the Year before when he was in LA.
Yeah, he's good.
No, I think he's really healthy. Good. He is getting older and everything like that, but I think just his presence there in that locker room, I think it'll be good. So
yeah, I miss old Blake Griffin. Like I want that back.
You want the old Blake Griffin back?
Yeah, I want like early Clippers.
Oh, so like not Chris Paul there.
Well, Chris Paul there.
You want that
Blake Griffin?
I was about to say like Chris Paul and him were like the best duo in the game for at least like 2 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, but they were. Shoot.
They really were. And so what else we got for basketball? What else?
He played 20 games this year so far.
Okay.
But didn't do much. I don't have much for basketball. I know the Lakers had that skid for a little bit, but they got out of it. And I think, coming out of the All-Star break, they'll probably be revamped a little bit, get Anthony Davis back and go back to the form that we're used to seeing from them.
I'm sorry to say it though. I think Utah is.
Don't say it.
Utah, the way they play with or without Anthony Davis for you guys, I think Utah can beat you guys easily. The way that they're playing, Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell are insane, and they have depth there too. Like you guys have depth, but they also have depth. Utah picked the right time to get hot.
Yeah, and they got Clarkson there, former Laker, and he's coming off the bench and scoring. So
I'm telling you, Utah might take down the mighty giant of the Lakers. I wouldn't be surprised by it, even if you had Anthony Davis in there. I don't know. Like, I get it. LeBron goes to a whole nother level when it comes to like playoffs and stuff like that in clutch moments. But man, if you can't, I can see Utah running away with that series. Like if you guys play for the Western Conference Finals, I think they go up like 3-1, like right off the bat.
And then the Lakers come back because they got the experience.
Rajon ain't there. Rajon was on a whole nother level for you guys last year on the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see. We still have a long season to go until.
But I'm telling Utah, if we want to sell another team here, we're talking Utah. Okay, we're talking NBA. If you're looking to pick a team right now to win the whole thing, we're picking Utah. Utah and Philly, 2021. Utah and Philly, 2021.
No, I don't think Utah can go to the finals and win it.
What'd you just say?
I don't think the Jazz can make it to the finals and win it.
I can't hear you while I'm listening to some jazz music in the background.
You like jazz? Tell me, Chris, do you like jazz?
I do. Like jazz.
I do like jazz.
I do like jazz. All right, well, let's swap over to a different sport. What you got?
We go baseball. Spring training started this week, and I want to point out something, and I know I'm going to be a little locally biased, but Shohei took a ball 468 feet dead center over the batter's eye, and then was a little rocky with control, but ended up striking out 5, hitting 97 in 2 innings of work on the mound. So I think if we see Shohei stay healthy this season for the Angels, he plays a pivotal piece in them making the playoffs for sure.
Do you want me to say something about that? You know, I'm gonna tell you the same thing every time we talk about
my mood.
every time we talk about Shohei, I'm going to bring up the same subject I always say.
Yep, he needs to pick one or the other.
Exactly. If he wants to play throughout the season, he has to pick one or the other. And I'm sorry, but if he picks hitting as a batter, and he can play the field too, he would be so better off than putting himself for injury pitching. I'm sorry if
but he's so good.
But here's my thing. Okay, if he can't pick one or the other, you don't let him start. You don't let him start pitching. Like I'm talking about bullpen.
I'd have him close.
That's fine as long as you're limiting his pitches, the amount he's being used. You can't let the guy start because first of all, if you let the guy start, right? Let's say he throws 95 pitches. Okay.
Yeah.
Throws 95 pitches. How long will it take to see him either in the rotation again or on the field?
I think rotation be 6 days.
6 days. Then how many times will he be on the field in those 6 days?
4.
You're wasting his money.
I don't know.
You're wasting the money you paid him, which it wasn't.
But he's not on the field though. He's just hitting.
Still. That's my thing. You got to pick one or the other. And if you do a bullpen, you have a better shot of using him more often.
Yeah, I think if they have him close, like he can do both. Like he goes 8 innings in the lineup, and then they're like, oh, it's a safe situation. Like go warm up.
All right, so let me throw a scenario out for you, okay? If Shohei pitches 7 innings, usually 7 innings nowadays averages between 85 to 100 pitches, correct?
Sometimes 4.
Yeah. So, well, let's say he's pitching 7 innings, okay? And he pitched between 85 and 100 pitches, okay? Wouldn't you rather have him throw multiple games in a bullpen where it would take him 6 appearances or maybe 4 appearances just to get to that pitch count? And you're using him more? And it's less stress on his body? Like if I'm the Angels right now, and if I'm Joe Madden, I got to have a sit down with this man. I know how much he loves to pitch. He loves it. And I have to but as a team and everything, I have to be like this. You got to pick one. And that's what we're going with for the whole season. Unless you can come to the agreement that you can work for the bullpen and not start, we can try.
I would throw that option out there if I were in those shoes. But from what my understanding is, like reading articles and like seeing tweets and stuff from these insider guys with the Angels, it's him and Madden did sit down and they're more so having Shohei dictate his comfort level. And from the early things about camp, like the early sayings is like, he seems a lot more comfortable and like more relaxed knowing he's like not on this short leash of like doing what he can do.
Okay.
So they might experiment with just him calling the shots and seeing how he feels, because he's the only person that can dictate how he feels is him.
No, I agree 100%, but you're rolling the dice on that. Like that's scary.
It's always a gamble.
That's the thing. It is always a gamble. But here's my thing: if he does get hurt and it's the same injury again,
if it's again, then it's like you're gonna hit.
It's either you're gonna hit or his career is done.
Yeah,
because it's already scar tissue. Like I don't know what else to tell you. It's scar tissue is bulkier and everything like that. Sometimes even stronger. But if you can tear through that, then you got a serious problem there health-wise. Yeah. So
like this season will mark 2 years since his Tommy John. So I pitched a little bit last year. He pitched like 2 games and it was not good.
We'll just see how he goes. Like you said, I think like they're gonna let him call the shots, but I mean it's just there's always risk whenever you do that. So
there's always risk, but we'll see how far it goes. But I just wanted to bring that up. Like he's looking good. And I think if he can get a grasp on the two-way situation, I think he's the difference maker in whether or not the Angels make the playoffs this season.
I think Joe Adell needs to go down.
He will. That's why they got Fowler.
He hasn't even had a good spring.
He hit a homer yesterday. but game 1, his defense was like he fell.
Yeah.
Like the meme going around is not Joe Adell, it's Joe fell. So, but that's why they got
Fowler.
Joe Adell. Like,
but here's the thing: I like Joe Adell, but it's just like you got to give that man some time, and then they're not patient with him, so then he's feeling a little stressed out, So honestly, like we always say, bring up Brandon Marsh before Joe Adell.
Yeah,
I think Brandon Marsh is more ready than he is.
Neither have had AAA at bats. So,
and that's where you can see sometimes, I know AA is the more competitive minor leagues of baseball. I get that. But sometimes playing in AAA, you see professional pitchers coming down, getting some work in. So you're going to see a taste of MLB, basically.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how it goes.
But Jackie Bradley signed with the Mets for 2 years, 24.
Brewers.
Oh, Brewers. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
He signed with the Brewers.
Mets fans, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Another
one gone.
A Mets, where they're committing to the Mets and they don't.
I feel so bad for Milwaukee fans because I'm going to tell you this. You guys have probably the worst depth all in baseball. Like if we're looking at prospects or anything, you have nothing.
And people are saying like, Mike Trout stuck. Look at Yelich.
Yelich is really stuck.
He was stuck in Miami and he's stuck in Milwaukee now.
True. It's Milwaukee, like they have a good roster. They have good players, but to me, it's not the right players. It's not. Yeah. It's okay. You got Christian Yelich, elite ball player. Okay. So you have elite, and then we're like, oh, Jackie Bradley. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you're looking at other things like shortstop is still oh my God, Arcia, right?
Yeah, Orlando Arcia.
They put so much hype around him, but what does he do? Plays okay.
Meh. Yeah.
He plays.
They're all a bunch of meh players and Christian Yelich.
So
and then Josh Hader.
Yeah. And here's my thing. And I've even talked to you about this. Why they gave up Travis Shaw and then he's crushing in Toronto? No idea.
But then he didn't, and then now I think he re-signed with Milwaukee. I think
Did he come back
with Milwaukee?
I mean, he put on a show in Toronto though. Like he had I think in 1 month he hit 8 homers in 1 month.
I think so.
But enough about baseball. I want to get to the topic that you wanted to talk about. I think this is going to be really fun.
Yeah, it centers around baseball. So I got into a little debate online with someone about top sports cities in not just America, but in general in the world. Like I know, Chris, you wanted to bring up Canada. Like Toronto, but
it could be any country though.
He's a diehard, and I'll give him props. He's a diehard, he will not admit he's wrong until he's blue in the face. He will die and say LA is the best sports city.
No.
And then being from out here, I'm 20 minutes from downtown. I'm 20 minutes from Orange County in Anaheim.
Yeah. I
can tell you that no city in Southern California, I think in California in general, is a top sports city. I would say the only one would be LA, and it wouldn't even be top 5 for me.
All right. So do you want to roll into this then?
Yeah, I could start off with number 1. Right. My argument was Midwest and East Coast.
But you have to name a city, though.
I think. All right. Number 1, for me, based off of experience and how fans are. I mean, I've only been to the south side of it, or not the south side, the north side, but Chicago is a big sports city.
I have Chicago in my top 5, but I don't have them at number 1. I have Boston at number 1. I have Boston at number 1. They if you're in anywhere in the New England area, that's all you eat, breathe, and sleep is Boston, yeah. Boston. So
ranking, yeah. I think I told him Boston, and then Chicago's in there, but I would say Chicago's better than LA.
So what's your number 1 then?
Number 1's Boston.
Okay, so we're going from 1 to 5.
Okay. So I was mainly saying Chicago's just better than LA, but
yeah.
Number 1, Boston. Just not even off of recency bias, but just in general, in my lifetime, I've seen that city win more than any other city. Yes. And we're a year apart. Like I'm 28, you're 27. And we can both agree Boston has won the majority of everything.
Well, it's not even that. It's even when they're not winning, the fans are loyal.
The fans are still there. Like, even though they'll be like, oh, you guys suck, you're garbage. Like, no matter what the outcome is, they're still like, oh no, I bleed Boston.
Yeah.
Bleed it.
Bleed it. This is our effing city.
Yeah. Big pappy.
Yeah, so I agree with Boston at number 1. Number 2, I'm not going to say Chicago yet, but my number 2, I hate to say it. Oh my gosh. New York.
New York.
You know, I don't care if you're a Mets fan, Yankees fan, Giants fan, Jets fan, no matter how bad they are, there are fans all the time there.
Yeah. And it's not even like the city area too.
It's like upstate,
upstate, Buffalo. You got the Bills Mafia up there.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
So, well, I mean, we're saying a state here instead of a city. So I would say just the state of New York, because it's not huge, but, you know, there's a lot of people there. And I would say the state of New York is like a huge city. So,
but city-wise, like New York City, like,
oh gosh, yeah,
it's their team.
They go nuts.
And I agree. And I think next for me, like number 3 would be Philly.
I have Philly in my top 5, but not at number 3. I would put Chicago at 3. Chicago. That it's like, if it's not even if like you're in Illinois, it's like even if you neighbor it, there's a lot of fans in the neighboring states.
Yeah, it's hard for me to choose like between Philly and Chicago because I've never been to Philly, but like Chicago, like I've told you this, and I don't know if I've said this on the pod or anything, but I saw one game in Chicago, and by far the greatest fan experience I've ever had in my life.
At a Cubs game, not a White Sox.
At a Cubs game.
At a Cubs game.
Yeah, at a Cubs game.
I would love to go to a White Sox game. There's a lot of, honestly, in my perspective, from people from Chicago, there's more White Sox fans than Cubs fans.
Then apparently the ones that are White Sox fans are filling up Wrigley, because I never see people filling up the South Side.
I've asked multiple people from Chicago, and they say there are more White Sox fans than Cubs fans.
That's weird.
So, I don't know. But, so you got Philly at 3. I got Chicago at 3. I've got Philly at 4. What do you got at 4?
This is tough. And I'm kind of weird. I'm kind of like sticking to where I've been. But I think Pittsburgh, like,
Pittsburgh's good. Pittsburgh's really loyal.
Yeah, they got, I mean, the Pirates suck, but
there's still people there.
The Steelers fans and
the Penguins
fans are nuts.
Between Philly and Pittsburgh, they're almost identical to me. I mean, they are in the same state, of course, but it's just like they are. If you're from Philly, you're a Phillies fan. If you're from Pittsburgh, you're a Pittsburgh fan. There's no in between there. There's nothing. There's nothing there. So for 5, my last pick, I'm going out of the country. I'm going to Toronto because those fans are loyal to their Raptors and Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you got at 5?
Man, this is tough for me for 5. Man, I just got to go off of just overall, like, loyalty, but just like what I've seen.
Yep.
But like, I've never been, but
let the fans know, Brian. Let the fans know.
Man, it's tough. Like, I know we're saying cities, but like, I think like Texas as a whole is like so Dallas, Houston, like.
I can
those
see
people
it.
are pretty diehard.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's pretty good. That's okay. We can roll with that. But that's our top 5, folks.
Yeah, and I think like I got into, I don't know. It's just a heated discussion, and like I applaud the guy for being so like.
Well, it's also everybody's entitled to their opinions.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but like, I just, when the facts are there of like, I don't know, being in Southern California, I can honestly say like a lot of people are fair weather fans.
Yeah, if they're doing good, then
they show up when they're doing good, and they're not there when they're bad.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
I agree.
Working in Anaheim at the stadium in 2014 when they won like 98 games, went to the playoffs, like that stadium was sold out every night.
Yeah.
Since then, I know they hit 3 million fans every year, but since then they're averaging like 22,000 a night, and it's not the same. And and honestly, like what's the team that's been dominating LA in general is the Lakers, and I think
that was just recently though.
But like I think in my lifetime too, the
Lakers have top priorities, and I would put Lakers then Dodgers.
Yeah, but Lakers can literally go 0-82, lose every game of the season, and Staples will be packed, and people would still love them.
Yeah.
Like, no, and I can't say that. I can't say the same for the Dodgers. If they finish third, I think that stadium's a little barren.
No, I agree. I don't know. That's why you leave it to the fans, and hopefully you guys drop a comment or something like that. Let us know what you think is your top 5. I think that would be a cool, discussion between us and other people and everything like that. So
yeah,
and give us some input and everything like that. But with that, I think we're wrapping up here. Another kind of quick night, not too crazy. We're in mid-season now, basically, with the majority of sports, but with that, Brian, it's great to have you back. I was so lonely on the last podcast. I felt like I was talking to ghosts. So
it sucks not being on it, but hey, you did a really good job.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Maybe I don't want to say it, but maybe I'll get sick and then you get.
Honestly, I was telling Stephanie, I don't think I can do what you did.
Yeah, yourself. You can. You're fine. I
don't know.
Maybe. You gotta make it enjoyable for yourself. I mean, I enjoy just talking to the fans and everything, but with you here, it's like an added bonus. Yeah. So, but with that, folks, like we always say, be kind, be nice. COVID numbers are going down. Doors are opening for baseball and other stadiums, so keep it up out there so we can put the fans back in stands. Brian, I'm throwing the ball to you. Close it out.
Fans in stands, wear a mask, like, subscribe, comment, listen, share. Just we want to feel the love. So
feel the love.
Check us out on Throwing Partners on every platform.
Exactly. And if you want us to name them out, it's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And
that's it.
We also have an email. Yeah. What's that email?
throwingpartners@gmail.com.
Send us an email and tell us what you think.
We're an ASMR podcast.
And if you're listening to this in the car, hopefully there's not a cop nearby thinking you're talking to somebody else. What if we did a whole whisper episode?
I'd be down.
Put it on Instagram. Do a vote.
Just more calming. Like, who wants a more calm whisper?
And we're gonna go ahead and raise our arms and just let all the negativity out.
Just if you make a noise, it's totally fine.
If you fart, it's totally okay. You're just releasing the gases.
Releasing all the gases for the week. All the toxins the week brought onto you.
Anyways, thank you folks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Have a good week.